So when it comes to when do you start using a vest, it depends, as is usual, the answer. But that 2 hour range in the heat, 2 hours is pretty good for even a handheld. Um, it just depends on kind of when you think you need it. It's nice to just have a little bit of water on hand. Research shows that even if you're hydrated, the feeling of thirst, the discomfort of thirst, is a performance limiter. So even if you don't like technically need it for performance, having something to sip on can be good for you. Soft flasks up front, I'm not a huge fan of because they do move your center of mass forward, which will load your quads more. So I'm more of a fan of the bladder on the back, by the way. So I did actually experience a mild strain of my calf, and we couldn't quite tell if it was a soleus or the gastroc. Like if you do a leg calf drop, calf raise, bent knee, straight knee, it might change how, which muscle it triggers, but couldn't quite tell. However, what helped it out was serious rest, and then walk, jogging, avoiding running on inclines. Pre-run heat application helped. Massage gunning maybe helped, but and avoiding zero drop shoes for running. I don't know what helped, but something worked and I got back into it. There is something to be said about recovery and having more rest days. This last training block towards Boston, he's now 6-month-old, and so I didn't run. I didn't run 80 miles a week and 9 times per week training for Boston. And I took 2 full rest days per week instead, and I only ran 5 times a week, and I felt amazing. Half the mileage, half the volume, more rest days, and I didn't run as fast, as it just wasn't the training block to run a PR or to re-qualify, but I ran pretty close to it, and I felt amazing during training, during the race. And so, yeah, there is absolutely something to be said for less training and more recovery. So protein shake after long runs for recovery? Yeah, maybe. There's a lot that goes into recovery. As a running coach with a degree in nutrition, I do look at protein and carbs after running, but intra-run, carbs that you take in during the run or not help with recovery. Also, how easy are your easy runs? Not overdoing your workouts, not going too hard, too long, too often. That plays a factor in your recovery from individual runs or your accumulation of fatigue or not, how well you sleep. Do you wear compression socks or not? They might or may not help. Various things like that. So protein shake after running can't hurt. So does icing help an injury or something? Depends who you ask and who you read on Google. Just Google it and you'll know what I'm talking about. But there are people that suggest, and this is typically I'm going to say this differently. There are people that suggest, and this is kind of like the new school way of thinking, that icing delays recovery because that inflammation that happens after a hard workout with an injury is kind of natural and necessary to facilitate that recovery. It's a necessary process. But there's also the old school, we'll say, rice, rest, ice, etc. That's worked maybe for decades. So, don't know. So when it comes to hill sprints, hill surges, usually what I have myself and my runners do is during easy non-recovery runs. So it's like, going out for 30 to 60 minutes the day before a track workout or before a long run or something. Do maybe one per mile, 10 to 30 seconds in length. And I call them a hill and drill workout. So I have them do drills, but hills. Now, most importantly, they're on uphills and downhills. So, for example, it might be, once every 10 minutes or so, once every 2K, 1 mile. Do a 30-second acceleration on an uphill or downhill that you may come across. Just a nice way to sprinkle in some hills in an otherwise easy run. You get a little bit of speed play in there as well. So you have multiple half marathons or other events. You could sprinkle some 5Ks in throughout the spring, summer, and fall, whatever. And you're wondering how to organize your training plans. And it just depends on how far apart they are, how long the training plans are, etc. Now, one way to go about it is you could train specifically for the first race and recover really well, and then 1 to 3 weeks later, get the second one in. Or another option is you don't have to do them all at best effort. You could do the first one, for example, the first half marathon as like a tempo run. You're gonna have to dial back your effort, your pace, and then you won't need a massive recovery from it, and then you can kind of target the second one or the third one. So a lot of different ways to go about doing it. Okay, so when it comes to what to eat the month out from a race, honestly, I wouldn't make that many big changes. You cutting out sugar and all that crap is nice, but a little bit of sugar, a little bit of crap is okay once in a while. I do something called intermittent dieting with a lot of my runners, where 6 days out of the week we eat really nice and clean. But that seventh day, and you can pick the day, you get some extra. Have a donut, have a beer, have an extra bean burrito, stuff like that. It helps preserve motivation, sanity, maybe metabolism if you're in a calorie deficit 6 days out of the week. And day before the event, I try to do a low fiber diet to help things pass through a little quicker. Otherwise, it's more about the long-term diet. So your little lady can hold her head up, and she should be fine to go out in the jogger. My son is 6 months old, and I've been taking him out. We've been doing walks for months, but he's able to hold his head up. I've done 3 or 4 runs with him now, and he's totally fine going out for 30, 45 minutes. We stop at the playground, jump on some swings, stuff like that. And so, test it out a little bit. Go for maybe, if you haven't done a lot of walks or runs yet, go out for a mile, 2 miles, 10, 20 minutes, whatever. See how she does. But yeah, I think you're good to go. And just pack on some toys and be willing to stop and play on the swing set for a little bit and have fun. Okay, so you're a few weeks out from your marathon, half marathon, and it's not too late to improve upon your time. Things you can do. Fitness-wise, there's not much you can do other than appropriately taper. But you can scout the course, know the course, read race recaps. If it's a large enough event, look at video recaps of the course so you don't have any surprises en route. Know things like take the tangents, pace appropriately, nail down a pacing strategy if you don't have one. Eat some beets every day. Beets might improve your performance. Eat some beets every day. Just bake them, have 1 or 2 a day. Nail down a pre-race diet, low fiber, high carb. Little things like that, strategy-wise, can still have you running faster. All right, so when it comes to marathon recovery, being in that 2-3 week range post-marathon, still feeling some soreness. Everybody's recovery is different. I have a guy that took 2 weeks and then ran faster for his second marathon 13 days later than his first one. Um, and like me personally, I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I recovered quite as quickly. And so the best thing you can do really is just take it easy, take it off. I always have my runners take the next week fully off from marathon, after a marathon, and then maybe 30, 45-minute jog every other day the next week, for example. The best thing you can do is eat a lot of food and stay active. Movement, walking, yoga, cycling, stuff like that. Um, Honestly, it just takes calories and time.